Hi everyone. Before the video, I just wanted to let you know my next book, The Artificer's Knot, is now available for pre-order. This gaslamp gangster fantasy is inspired partly by the world of Dishonored, and by one character in particular. Free advance copies are available to anyone willing to review it, so check out the links below. There is no posse comitatus act in the world of Dishonored. No constitutional separation between military and police functions. Thus, the main enemy encountered throughout is the blunt instrument of the Dunwall City Watch. It was formed on the 1st of Timber in 1809 by order of Emperor Euhorn Kaldwin. Since its funding depends on parliamentary votes, it can effectively be drafted for personal use by powerful families such as the Boyles and Pendletons. Recent innovations include upgrading the watch's pistols to whale oil bullets and arming it with military-level equipment, watchtowers, walls of light, and arc pylons. During the Rat Plague, it became responsible for enforcing quarantines and curfews, as well as transporting plague sick and dead to disposal sites. This included civil asset forfeiture of the wealth of the infected, or allegedly infected. They increasingly fought gangs that sprung up amid the chaos, but also relied on some, like the Bottle Street Gang, for bootleg elixir to fight off the plague. Though a few members of the Watch, such as Captain Jeff Kernell, remained moderately ethical during this time, most were corrupt, violent, and preyed on the citizens they supposedly protected with unqualified immunity.
I ain't catching the plague. Hand it over.
No, please, it's for my baby.
It was only after the elimination of Lady Boyle that they were successfully defunded. During Delilah's coup in 1852, many members sided with Mortimer Ramsay, executing their own comrades that would not turn. The highest ranks of the Watch are not encountered in Dishonored. These are Chief of the Watch, who reports only to the Emperor or Regent, and Generals of the Watch, responsible for individual districts around Dunwall. The fact that Mortimer Ramsay was only a captain might have motivated him, a fallen noble, to support Delilah's coup. Of the Watch enemies in Dishonored, the weakest are lower guards. New recruits, many from prisons, they have limited fighting skills and are easily dealt with. They wear drab Feldgrau uniform jackets and caps, drab shirts and trousers, and carry only swords. They will, however, hurl rocks and other debris at you if out of range. They are cowardly and will flee to sound alarms if their fellows are killed. They carry the rank of private. Regular City Watch guards are the most numerous enemy in Dishonored and are recruited from among the citizenry rather than prisons. They wear gray or possibly dark blue jackets and brown trousers, as well as special upper body armor and helmets. This makes them more formidable than the lower guards, but they also carry only swords or throw rocks. They often accompany officers and carry the ranks of corporal or sergeant. They frequently replace empty whale oil containers and sometimes examine fuse boxes. They can often be seen using the streets as latrines, and will investigate if one of their fellows goes missing on a patrol route. City Watch officers are the most elite enemy routinely faced in Dishonored. They are intelligent and highly skilled in combat, able to block attacks, dodge, and kick. They lead squads of lower-ranking guards and never flee in fear from combat. They are mainly recruited from noble or wealthy families. They wear dark blue jackets with red tunics, brown trousers, and knee-length black leather boots, and sometimes wear peaked helmets. Most importantly, they carry pistols as well as swords. Their guns are slung from a unique mount on a bandolier across the chest. The bullets carry a charge of whale oil rather than gunpowder, though the guns superficially resemble 17th century wheel-lock pistols. Long guns, such as rifles and muskets, are not seen in the games, but are hinted at in the Tales from Dunwall. Officers prefer to fire from a distance, but are also skilled swordsmen. Their ranks range from lieutenant to major, but the highest rank encountered in Dishonored is captain. Of course, players of the game probably know their main concerns.
Should we gather for whiskey and cigars tonight?
Indeed, I believe so.
The Wrenhaven River Patrol is a division of the City Watch tasked with law enforcement on the river and its related waterways. Their main roles are inspecting boats for documentation, enforcing quarantine, and combating river pirates. During the Rat Plague, they lost control of large areas and ports to gangs such as the Dead Eels. Though not encountered, the Engineering Corps is responsible for maintaining the defensive structures such as walls of light, arc pylons, and watchtowers seen throughout the games. They also ensure the devices are tuned to attack only enemies and not the Watch personnel in the area. City Watch Special Forces units have additional training in specific areas and tasks. Tall boys are heavily drugged and are immune to sleep darts. Armored, shielded, and walking on high stilts that protect from rats and weepers, they fire incendiary bolts at large groups of citizens, plague-infected or not. Dead counters are recruited from lower officer and NCO ranks, and are tasked with handling and transportation of plague-infected and dead. But more importantly, with assessing the victim's assets for seizure by the state, often in the person of city barristers like Arnold Timpsch. They are completely corrupt, and are often identified by the masks they wear while handling the dead. Estate bodyguards are distinguished by their light blue jackets and gray tunics, and sometimes wear helmets. These officers are deployed to protect nobles or provide security for specific locations. They may command squads of other City Watch guardsmen. In Admiralty and the Fleet, it's revealed that every isle has some form of navy, though none as envied as Gristol's. Little is known of it, except that its superiority is credited with putting down the Morley insurrection. Similar to the whaling industry, navy ships were once made of wood and sailed by wind, but thanks to the whale oil revolution and Sokolov's inventions, the fleet is now a thing of iron, driven by steam. The ISS Jessamine is an example of one of these state-of-the-art ships. The Navy's other roles are hunting down pirates and presumably ensuring trade routes. The only uniformed sailor we see in Dishonored is Admiral Farley Havelock. He wears a navy blue jacket and gray tunic underneath, with gray or black trousers, sword belt, and bandolier with pistol mount at his chest. We can infer that lower-ranked sailors probably wear a simpler uniform, as is the case with other armed forces. The only known ex-sailor we see is Samuel, and it's not known how much of his civilian dress is taken from his time in service. One of the medals in Havelock's room looks identical to the U.S. Navy Cross, the second highest award that members of the Navy can earn. Havelock is very skilled at blocking, and it is almost impossible to win a blade lock against him. The Morley insurrection was triggered on the 27th of Nets in 1801 with the burning of the Morleyan ship ESV Ridgegate at port in Winddown. The subsequent fighting was almost entirely at sea, and privateers of both sides also raided supplies. This implies that Morley's navy, while inferior to Gristol's, was not inconsiderable. Representatives of the Gristol army are seen only a few times in Dishonored. General Tobias is in charge of security at Dunwall Tower, with authority over the City Watch in that capacity, and General Turnbull encounters Arnold Timpsch in the legal district. Headquartered at Whitecliff and divided into battalions and regiments, regular army soldiers wear red jackets and caps with gray tunics and dark trousers. The soldiers encountered in Knife of Dunwall are all referred to as private, and are not very strong enemies. They resemble City Watch lower guards in all ways except uniform color, and carry only swords. The generals wear dark blue tunics under their jackets and carry pistols. They fight in the same manner as City Watch officers. When Havelock takes over as regent, he refers to himself as
Supreme Commander of the combined armies of the Empire.
assuming control of both the army and navy. It can be assumed that Gristol's army took part in the War of Four Crowns that united the Isles into the Empire, though what role they now serve, other than to supplement the City Watch, is not clear. In Karnaca, the corresponding organization to the City Watch is the Grand Circoning Guard, a combined military and police force similar to the Italian Carabinieri or French Gendarmerie. Though not encountered, the Stewards of Calero reportedly serve a similar function. They handle bloodfly infestations and guard ports, as well as protect nobles like the Duke. The Grand Guard dates at least to the 1620s, when it aided in a plot by the Aventa family to overthrow the King of Serkonos. Corvo Attano earned an officer's commission in the Guard at age 16 by winning the Blade Verbena sword tournament. By the time of Duke Luca Abel, the Guard is every bit as sadistic and corrupt as the City Watch. But they do have pretty uniforms. The most common enemy in Dishonored 2 is the regular Grand Guard soldier. They wear light blue short-sleeved tunics with epaulettes, seemingly of twill fabric, over white undershirts, white belts and bandoliers, and khaki trousers and boots with white spats. They may wear white caps or helmets, and some carry backpacks. Some wear whistles on chains and rank insignia. Overall, their dress is more elaborate than the regular Dunwall City Watch guards. They may wear masks and goggles in areas like the Dust District, and some wear armored vests. They carry only swords, but can also throw rocks and debris. Their ranks include corporal, sergeant, and lieutenant. They are not very intelligent, often barely literate. Elite guards are the officers and command certain areas and associated lower guardsmen. They carry swords and pistols and are well trained in both. They wear ornate long-sleeved red jackets over white-collared shirts, polished helmets, and belt buckles. Their pistol shots can kill from a considerable distance. Their ranks are captain and major. Veterans are the most senior officers. They are similar to elite guards except for their golden helmets with red plumes and dark trousers. Their white belts also sport golden buckles. Most importantly, their pistols sometimes shoot explosive bullets. Oddly, though there are many female elite and veteran guards, not a single female regular guard is encountered in Dishonored 2. It's perhaps best left to the imagination how women seem to rise in their ranks so quickly. There is also a technical office charged with maintaining windmills which power walls of light, as well as clockwork soldiers. The only other similar force mentioned elsewhere are the shadowy operators of Tivia, secret police who wear featureless black uniforms and opaque masks. These anonymous enforcers of the ruling High Judges are never seen by ordinary people, coming in the night and disappearing victims without a trace. They are most similar to the Russian Okhrana or Soviet NKVD. In all the Dishonored games, the primary enemy is some form of soldier, police, enforcer. In each case, whatever the supposed official protect and serve role, their actual primary activity is inevitably keeping the citizenry under tight control while fleecing their pockets. And as long as they kick their extortion and bribes up to the bosses, the rulers are happy to keep things just that way. Many people love the Dishonored series for many reasons, but I'd be willing to bet more than a few can relate to the allure of taking up a blade and slicing through a line just a bit too thin and too blue to be suffered much longer.